Hi there, this is Kathy Crow. Thank you so much for joining me here at the Crow Cottage. Nice day today, a little bit cloudy, not quite as cloudy as it was yesterday. It was super cloudy all day long, and usually the sun shines through, so it's been a little cloudy, but it's warm. I'll take the warmth. Back at our old place where we were, back in the Tri-Cities, you guys are getting so much cold. Oh man, super cold. And I'm not envying the days off. They have had school delays and closures and whatnot. And I'm not sad about missing that. Jeff isn't teaching anyway a lot of the time. He substitute teaches, and so he probably wouldn't be anyway. We're getting close to Christmas time. You guys, we're coming up to the holidays pretty fast. I think this is the last Christmas project I'm going to be making today. Today I'm going to use leaves of holly. I think I've done this one before, but I wanted to stamp a little bit with it. I'm not going to use it a lot, just a little bit. I also pulled out my For Unto Us. Now this is one of my favorite Christmas sentiment ones. This is last year's. I think this is last year's. Maybe this is 2 years ago. So if I hope you have it. This is a really good set, and I wish that one stayed in. Since we are talking Christmas and Christ, Christmas begins with Christ. That's probably one of the reasons I like that set so much. I happened to pull this out because I was mentioning it to a friend, so I thought I'll tell it to you too. Christ in Stereo, the life of Christ in stereo. If you've ever had questions about how come the Gospels don't really coordinate all that well with each other, they do. They just do. Read that book. That's an old one from the 70s that a friend told me about, and I have I'm so grateful to her. She's given me ideas for so many great books that we've done together. Thank you, Kim. That's one of the best ones, and it's one that was recommended to her. I think she told me when she was in college, and we're getting up there in the years. So that was a while ago, but you could probably still get a used copy. I got a used copy really cheap, and it's a good one. So if you are looking for a good gospel story, since it's Christmas time, go for it. That one's a really good one. I'm just trying to, my phone keeps going to sleep on me, and I'm trying to find myself. Just trying to find myself, just like in the 70s, 80s, people are trying to find themselves. Well, there I am. I found myself. Okay. So, Michelle, good to see you. Man, I bet you're home because I saw Barracudas. I think it was Barracudas that sent out a warning, don't come out unless you really have to sort of message early this morning for you guys because it's probably icy. So my sympathies. It's really nice here. I can go anywhere I want. Now today, Jeff, that is my husband's name. I've never been married to George, so I don't know where that came from. Anyway, Jeff said that we are going to get a storm tonight. We're going to get a really good storm. I'm sure it'll just rain. It's going to be windy, so who knows? I am going to have a fun time with you. We are going to do a really fun fold. This is a pretty easy one to do. And so I hope that you enjoy it as much as I do, because this one's going to be a really good one. Now, I'm trying to get the camera up so that you can really see what's going on, but it sure is all crooked, isn't it? There we go. That's better. Now I'll just rearrange my desk so that it's not quite as crooked as all that, and hopefully that'll show you pretty good, because I want to bring over my cutting machine. I'm going to be using that today. Now you can see that I've already got cut out. This is from our sweetest candy canes. Is it sweet candy canes? Sweet candy canes or sweetest candy canes? I kind of forget which it is. But anyway, this is the background die that is cut out from that candy cane one. I've got it just listed under candy canes. So let's see, there it is, candy cane dies. This is why I got these dies, is for this background. I did use these on the paper to cut out my candy canes so that I have a bunch of those all out, because I bet you this paper is still available. I assume that it is. I haven't looked today. I should have probably looked, but I didn't. I've got a whole bunch of that paper all cut out. This is the Sweetest Christmas, came with the candy cane sweet. I don't know if the sweet's available, but I'm pretty sure the dies and the paper and the stamps, I'm pretty sure they are still available. Michelle, if you know that they aren't, could you let me know? That would be nice, because I hate it when I recommend stuff and then it's not even available. If anybody does a 75 order with $1 order or more, use the host code. Whether you order that much or not, use the host code. But if you order $75 or more, I will send you a free embellishment of some kind. Also, I am doing Christmas cards and other cards, a pack of at least 10 for every $50 and up order. And that is just a nice thing for me to be able to do for you. This paper has a lot of stripes in it, and I've used up almost all of the little candy cane paper, so I don't have a lot of that paper to show you. The other thing, the main paper I am going to use today is from our Poinsettia bundle. Now this is from the Leaves of Holly, the boughs. This is called Boughs of Holly paper, and it has all kinds of really fun Christmassy things in it. So that's what I'm using. Today's Gatefold, we're going to do a Gatefold card. You're going to really like this one. Super easy to do. You've probably made it before. And it has a little pop-up box that opens up when you open it up. It's a Gatefold. So I'm going to get us going on the dimensions for that. And I'm going to use this poinsettia paper to do that with. I'm tucking these things back in because I'm going to be using those. I don't want to lose them. And we can get going. I am going to push this to the side too, and we will get going. All right. I hope everybody's having a great day today. I already went and worked out, so that was good. And trying to behave myself because our kids are going to be here. Our son-in-law and our daughter and our little 2-year-old granddaughter is going to be here for over Christmas, so I know I'm going to be eating. Now you're going to want to have this. This is an 11-inch sheet of cardstock. If you're doing it, with your regular cardstock, you wouldn't have to cut this length because this is 11 inches. But I'm using the 12 by 12, so we're going to go ahead and cut this. This is 11 inches by 6 inches, so you're just cutting a little bit off. I want to look for directionality because this part is actually going to be on the front of my card. This is going to be the inside of my card. And it's sort of a bark looking thing, isn't it? I really like it. This would be pretty embossed. And so I'll think about it. Maybe I'll do some embossing. I doubt it because that background's awfully big. I don't think I'll need any embossing, but this is really pretty embossed. And we have a bark embossing folder that's really nice. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this 11 inches. I want it to be 11 inches going across. So let me just first of all cut 11 inches there, and then I'm going to cut 6 inches this way. Let's flip it here like this, just so that I've got a nice flat edge there. Okay, so now I still have, I only got into it a little there, so now I still have a 12 inch by 6 inch piece there. And I'm going to toss my scrap. Okay, so now let's score this. This is scored at 2 and I've got on my instruction a smidgen over 2 3/4, which that seems pretty funny. I'm not sure why it has to be a smidgen. It's probably that 16th is what I'm looking at, and that's why I've got smidgen written there. I don't know. My measurements are so sketchy that I don't trust myself, so let's just check it. Okay, so smidgen, yes, does mean just a 16th over. I'm going to go and look at, this is a gatefold, so let's look at the other side and see if that is exactly the same. That one is actually 2 3/4. I'm not sure why it has to be a smidgen, because it's overlapping a pretty good amount. You want it to overlap a little bit so that it can have something in that little box. I think that's why I have it a smidgen. We're not going to do the smidgen. We're going to do 2 3/4 of an inch. We're going to see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't turn out badly. We'll find out. I kind of like to do these things the way everyone does them rather than the perfect way. I think a lot of us make things and, you know, and kind of learn as we go. Hi, Freddie. How are you? I will. I will. Tomorrow? Yes, I can do it. Tomorrow is the day I can call you. That'd be great. I hope all things are going well. It has been interesting, all of the things we've been observing in life. Always interesting. Okay, let's look. Okay, good. Now see, there's not a lot of extra, and that's why I have smidgen written on it, is I wanted a little extra. Not a big deal. What I'm going to do is have a gatefold, you know, a covering that's going to be over that anyway. But if you were going to just stick a label on this and just stick your item on here, you would need the smidgen. You would need the 2 3/4 plus that 1/16 of an inch extra on one side. Just one side is all that you need on that. Okay, so that is the outside of the card. And again, that one was 11 inches by 6 inches and then scored at 2 3/4 of an inch on both sides. But again, you're going to want a smidgen on one of those sides. Now, for this little insert part is the only part that's a little tricky. We're going to cut this part 10 1/4 inches by 5 1/2. And I'm going to use this beautiful poinsettia paper. Now, this is the leaves of holly. I know it's poinsettias. That's why I keep looking for poinsettia something. You know, every time I look for this paper, I've been looking for poinsettia place, perfect poinsettia, pretty poinsettia. I've been looking for all those things and thinking, where is that stamp set? It's not existent. Well, it is non-existent because our poinsettia paper this year came with the leaves of holly, and there's no poinsettia on it. So go figure. That's just, it's a very pretty paper, and I've used almost all of it up. I'm getting down to the last. So 10 1/4. Oops, let's look for directionality. Good, there's none there, so I don't have to worry about that. 10 1/4 of an inch. And we're doing 5 1/2. So let me put my cutting blade up here at around that 5 1/2 inch mark, and go up. And then we're going to go like this, and 5 1/2 inches. Okay. All right. And now I still have a whole big piece of my paper left that I can use for other things. Now this part, this scoring part is a little trickier. First of all, we're going to score at 2 1/2 inches on both sides. Okay. So 2 1/2 inches. On this side, 2 1/2. Oops, I pushed kind of hard. Be careful not to push very hard. See, I cut it a tiny bit. This is not heavyweight cardstock. This is lightweight, and you'll cut right through it if you push hard on your scoring tools. So 2 1/2 inches there. So I did that one really lightly. And then after you've done that, you're going to want to find the halfway point. You're not going to cut or score or anything like that. You're just going to find the halfway point. The halfway point is 5 1/8, which if you're good at math, you would know that. And I'm going to grab a piece of pencil. A pencil, not a piece of pencil, but a pencil. And 5 1/8, I'm just going to mark it. 5 1/8. I'm checking again to make sure I've got it right. I'm marking my 5 1/8 right there and right there. And we're going to score from the corner of that center point to this bottom corner. Okay, so just put that right in the trough and the point in the trough. And then you're going to score like that. correct? Yes, it is correct. And then we're going to score the same way on the other side there to the point. Okay, like that and like that. Oh, fun, fun. And now you're going to do the same thing on the other side. So put your center point that you did right there and your bottom corner. You have your whole cutting board to use here. So I kind of had it scrunched up at the top, but you don't really need to do that because you can just line up that center point and the corner right in the little trough. Now make sure you're using your score tool and not your cutting tool though. And then we'll do the same thing, center point. So you do it 4 times, going to each of the 4 corners, and you're all set. Okay, now we've scored everything. Now the fun part is getting this score to actually work for us, because you kind of have to work it a bit. All right, so where I accidentally, my 2.5 that I cut it there, I got to be a little careful here because I did kind of cut it. This is going to be a mountain fold, and I want my red to be on the outside, so I'm going to make the mountain fold here with my poinsettias. Okay, there and there. I'm not going in all the way to the center. I'm just kind of pushing it up there on the edge. And then these are valley folds. All these. Okay, and so to do the valley fold, again, I'm not pushing right there in that center. I think it's going to just make it a little easier for me to fold if I don't do that. Because it's not really quite done. Once you do this, you still, oops, I think I missed a score line. Let me do one more from this center line. Yep, I missed one. So this one right there to this outer corner. Get that lined up in there. Okay, perfect. I've been looking online for doll clothes because my husband and I, Jeff, we went to some more. I've been for the last couple of weeks looking for, I wanted a little cute doll for my granddaughter to play with because I didn't know, actually, Mary, if you're watching, now it should intersect right there, and mine's not perfectly, so I'm not sure. I must have got it off just a tad. Hopefully that won't mess everything up because it should intersect exactly there. We'll see what happens. So the doll I thought Mary had taken is actually when I was putting the new one away in all of her little doll clothes. I found it. It was in there. Sheesh, I didn't even need to buy a doll. Okay, now this is going to fold up like this. Okay. Very neatly. Okay, so once you kind of get it going, get out your burnishing tool, your score tool, and get it going nice and flat. You want your point to be right there. If it's not folding perfectly and you got it off a little bit like I just did, it's okay. You can kind of just fix it. It'll be fine. Even if it's off a tiny bit, it'll be fine. And then this one, I don't know why that point's not sticking out there. It's probably where I got it off. So it's not quite pointy like it should be. Again, the thing is it needs to be flat. It needs to be flat more than perfect. Okay, so flat is what you're going for. So just flatten it all out. All right, very good. So my score line isn't perfect, and I don't understand why it's not. It should be. It should be better than it is there. Let me try that again. I'm not sure what I did there. Okay. You might want to, before you... There we go. That's better. Much, much better. Whew. Okay, that's much better. Do be careful that it's not totally rescoring your line, or you'll end up with an extra one like I just did. All right. Now, this part, you don't want to cut any of this away. You're going to be tempted to want to cut some of that away so that it closes a little more easily. It's just not going to, because it's sort of the nature of the beast. If you cut any of that, it's going to look awkward. So just resist. You're just going to be opening and shutting it a little bit gingerly in the card when you do this. So now you've got your outer card. This is the inner one. This one you want to have it centered and in. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you do want it to be pretty close. There's plenty of room on either side, so it's not too terribly tricky. Just glue it in there. Okay, put some glue on the back, or tape will work. I would use glue. The tape for me sometimes works, sometimes doesn't so much. It just sort of depends. You do want this to be in the middle though. So let's close her up. As good as I can do it. So I can make sure that it's pretty close to being centered in there. Okay, so there's that edge and that edge. Perfect. All right, now while we've got it down, I'm going to glue these right here. Okay, so we don't need a ton there, but I don't want that flap to be glued. Okay, so that goes there. We're going to hold that down. Make sure that stays nice. I'm going to keep my glue upright though, so that it doesn't, down to the last. I have used so much glue this season. So much. I've done a bunch of these fancy folds. I think that's why. Anyway, so Jeff and I we were looking for more Barbie clothes. My goodness. And I went online, found a bunch of patterns on eBay and Etsy and even Amazon, and just didn't want to spend that much because, of course, there's so many cute old patterns. You remember the old Barbie patterns from the 60s and the 70s, and even there was a couple from the 80s, and then I guess the fabric companies, did they just stop making patterns for clothes? I don't think anyone makes doll clothes anymore. There was a package of kind of cheap ones you could buy on Amazon that are probably made in China. You know, I didn't want to buy those. Okay, now this side, I just put it, this is not going to be this way like permanently, but I'm getting this out of the way so I can flatten this down and glue this onto this. Now, do you see how that comes out? Again, if I'd done my smidgen, it wouldn't be coming out. So that's why that smidgen was on there. So when you do score it, do it 2 and, what was it? Did I say 2.5 and a smidgen? That's just, that smidgen is a 1/8 mark past. And I don't know what that measurement is. It's not 2 5/8. I should learn these things. Okay. My piece that my overlay piece is going to cover this. So that's why I'm not going to clip that, and I'm not concerned about it either. Okay, so this is how your card's going to open up. Isn't that pretty? And then you can put something in here. I'm going to just put a sentiment in here for now. And anyway, so I'm folding it shut like this, because what we're going to do is we're going to put that this candy cane thing on top. And because of my mess under there, I'm going to put a backing under. I wasn't going to, but now that I've messed it up, I'm going to put a backing under here so that it covers that up nicely. And we want to, you know, not red. Not red, I think. Not stripes either, because I'm putting candy canes on there. Let's see if we can just find, I could just do white, but I don't know. I'm thinking I'll just back it with some of the, what I already have going here. Let's look at white and see if I do want white. I've got a little scrap of white. Oh, that's not a big enough scrap. Let me get a scrap. Scrap of white. Okay. Anyway, so I don't think I need to buy any Barbie clothes. I don't know. I've gone back and forth, looking at patterns. There aren't any old doll clothes in the used stores here. I don't know of anybody who makes them. And I was going to have fun with making it myself because I like doing that sort of thing. It would be fun to make Barbie clothes. I used to love doing that. And so I was going to do that. But then I guess I wasn't looking at Amazon right, because then as I was thinking about all of that, I did find another pack of Barbie clothes on Amazon that actually looked pretty good. Okay, white? No. We're going to go ahead and do this and put that on there. Let's see, not the part that I put, though. I want to do it up there. Okay, so I'm going to just glue that on there and then trim the edge away. And then we'll have a nice front for this. So I don't think anybody makes doll clothes anymore. Do you? Do you make doll clothes? It was something that we all did. We made clothes for ourselves or our kids. And then you had all these leftover scraps. So you made little doll clothes, right? I mean, I thought everyone did that, but now that I remember it, I think I'm only one of the very few left in my generation that ever did that. I think that kind of disappeared, and it's been a long time gone, and the fabric I just never knew, because I was in my own little world, you know, raising kids, making doll clothes, having a good time. We homeschooled our kids for a while, so we did that, and that was hard, you know, kept me busy. Anyway, I started stamping. I didn't, you know, do any doll clothes, so I didn't know. They'd even stopped making patterns. So that's been an eye-opening experience. I was sure I would find a whole bunch of doll clothes. The thing is people don't buy them, and then they get used up and torn. Because then I went through our Barbies and combed all their hair last night. Quite some time. And got them all ship-shape, and I was surprised I had as many clothes as I did. They just need a little bit of cleaning and repair. I think we're good. I don't even think I need any doll clothes. And then I realized, you know what, I don't think anybody does that anymore anyway, so. Okay, I think I'm going to just glue that right on there like that. And then this is going to open like this. Okay, but I do think we want a tie. If you don't put a tie on, it's just not going to stay shut nicely. So let me grab some red ribbon. I've got that old ruffled stuff. I've got quite a bit of it. I'm going to use a big piece of it. It's really big, so I didn't use a lot of it last year when it was available for us. It's just such a large ribbon. This looks like 3/4 inch or 1 inch even. That's pretty big in the card world. I tend to like 1/4 of an inch for cards. So anything more than a 1/4 inch is kind of big to me. I'm going to tie this on just to see how it's going to look with this. see how that's gonna work. Okay, so it will work. It's just kind of funky. I'm gonna put that right over that ribbon, just as it is. I could use dimensionals, but I think, oop, I don't want it on the whole thing, just on part of it. I think, am I the only girl that really liked playing with Barbies and had doll clothes? I had a whole bunch. When we were, I think I was 10, and we moved from one house to another. We might have even been moving, I think we were moving out of state. And I was thinking, I am too old for dolls. I should not be playing with Barbies anymore. I think I'm too old for it. I feel silly, and I don't want my friends to know I'm doing that. And so I left all of my Barbies and all of the clothes and accessories to my next door neighbor, who was 1 year younger than me. And I was always sorry I had done that. It's like, I wasn't really done playing with my Barbies. So I think that's one reason I get such a kick out of it. It's fun. Anyway, our little granddaughter's 2 years old, and my daughter just sent us a picture of her opening a cute little dress. Oh, you are driving, Freddie? Okay. I didn't catch on to that until just now. I just now saw that message. Okay. Anyway, she's so cute. I'm really excited about having the chance to be with him this Christmas. That'll be really fun. A real treat for us. I don't know, maybe next Christmas we'll have to go to Idaho so that we can be with our grandkids there. Oh, but it'd be more fun to have them come here. Maybe we'll have them come here. Oh, I'll have to talk to them about that. That would be fun for us. Okay, I don't know if it'd be as much fun for them, but it would be fun for us. All right, now that part is done. Let's do the inside, and then we'll be done with the inside, because I want to do the outside. I'm happy to get to that, but if I fool around a lot and don't get to the, that's what happens. So we'll just go ahead. Let's cut a piece out. We don't need a very big piece. I saw that our Tasteful, we have, oh boy, you guys, we have in the catalog a stamp set called, where are they? They aren't my rectangles. I do use them quite a bit. Let's find them. It's Tasteful something. Where are they? Tasteful. There we go. Tasteful labels. These are on sale. Don't miss them. These are some of my favorite ones. I guess this one's pretty big. It isn't stitched, but a lot of them are. It has the stitched flags. This rectangle is a great shape, and it's stitched. That is stitched. These have a nice double line on them, but I think it's these that I love so much. This stitched one, oh, this one is really cute. So if you haven't got it yet, you should go in and get it. Now, this one might not be too bad in here. Yeah, that's not bad. Let's try this one. Let's see if I want that one. I do. That one's going to work better. So we'll do that one. Now to see what we're going to put in here, I want to put in my retired one, Christmas Begins with Christ. Now you do know the whole story of the candy cane, right? There's a story of the candy cane that's very spiritual. So I don't know if it's very accurate, but it probably is. Over the centuries, they've come up with all kinds of ways for people to, I wonder if I want this one in green, because this stamp set actually has a little green leaf. Let's do, let's just do it in red. And then if I need to, I'll go back over it with some green in there, because I kind of like green for the leaf. Hark the Herald Angels Sing is our favorite Christmas hymn. And so that's another reason this stamp set's been one of my favorites always since it came out. Oh boy, you know what? In the new catalog, you are going to be so excited about what's coming out. If you have not signed up to be part of someone's team, get ready to sign up with my team in January. There's all kinds of great specials coming on, and you are not going to want to miss them. They're really good. And you will be able to put on into your starter kit for I think it's $29. Is it that much, or is it $125? I don't really remember. But anyway, you're going to get $175 worth of stuff and a little cutter, this size mini, a mini one that's hopefully blue. And if it's not blue, it'll be white. But it's cool. It'll be really nice. And one of the things they have in the new catalog that I'm really excited about is, ta-da, Conversation Bubbles. Oh boy, this is a nice set. It has dies in it. Little conversation bubbles. Oh, this is going to be a fun one. You're going to really love that one. Okay. Cannot have too many. I've never had anything like that. They've probably done something like that before, but I don't have any. Let's don't you. I'm probably going to put you out, bring you out again. All right, so this is going to go right inside here, leaving a tiny bit of room for writing. I don't need a lot. And there's plenty of room for just any kind of flat little cookie or a biscuit or our little embellishments. We've got some nice new ones. There's probably not, it's not big enough for a case of anything, but there are some nice new little sequiny things. This one's the iridescent pastel. You'd have to take it outside of its case, but it could go in there. There's always some little thing you could put in there. All right, so we're going to tie this up. The inside is done. And then we'll do the outside, and we'll be finished for today. I haven't even told any of my jokes. A whole bunch over there. I went online to see, I happened to see something. It was a little resource, a Christmas resource for parents of missionaries, and it looked like a really good one. If you are a parent that's absent away from your kids or grandkids, I think you would really enjoy looking at it. Oh, that kind of chopped that up. It's, it's different than, it's, first of all, the writer of this blog made the point that it was like a grieving kind of thing. You might as well just go ahead and do, because that's what it feels like. I'm going to use, I think, this old punch. Maybe I don't need to. I might, though. There's inside this Leaves of Holly is this really beautiful background. It's really pretty. I think we want this in green. So let's cut that out first and see if I need this punch. This is our old scallop tag topper. I don't even know if that's still available. It might be, but I'm not 100% sure that it is. Let's see what green I've got in here. No, where's all of my paper? There it is. I'm looking for the green. All right, here we go. So this is the green of that. I hate to mess that side up, but I want to just use this paper because I know it's color coordinated with the poinsettias. And it's pretty. And we'll put a little label in there. Let's cut it out on this side. Anyway, the website had, if you are experiencing that when you're away from your kids or your grandkids at the holidays, just know you're not the only one. Missionary families have struggled with the reality of all of that over a long period of time. So this was actually a really good resource. It had how to have good parent of missionary relationships. And I thought the suggestions looked like they were really practical and really good ones. I hadn't really thought about it as a grieving process because our kids, of course, are not traditional missionaries. They're just away from us. But if they're away from you, it's kind of the same thing. If you're not able to be right with them. The social media stuff has helped some in ways, and in some ways it hasn't. So there you go. One of the top thing was set your children free, which I know just makes sense. Everybody would know that. Isn't that beautiful? Very pretty. That's going to be really nice. So we're going to put our little candy cane on it. I need leaves behind that. Okay, so we're going to take this and clean that off. And then we want to put my leaf behind it, but let's grab this out. Let's see what one we want to do. It's this one right here, okay? Cuts out a nice little leaf right behind it. We want something, I don't know, not really white. I can't very well use this because it's the same color as. And I don't really want to use white. Let's see what we have. I think I've got some soft seafoam. Or even mint macaron would probably work good. But I'm going to use, oh, I bet you I've got a scrap of soft seafoam over here. Let me grab some. I do. Just a little scrap. Okay, so we'll run that through. So don't, give up on the guilting and the, and the judgment is probably the first thing with keeping a good relationship. Okay, let's see how that looks. Oops, try it that way. It should work. Why is it not? Yeah, it is. Okay, there we go. Cute. Very nice. Okay, that's fine. A little darker, so that would have been fine. Probably soft succulent or mint macaron would have worked just as good for that. I really like the holly leaves that have the white variegated edges. So if I was going to do that, I would do this label in white and that in green, and that would have given you the white variegated edges. That would have been really pretty. And then this is going to need to be white, I suppose, if I use it for a label, but I'm not sure that I'm going to, so we can just set it aside. Let's glue this on here to those little leaves. I could have used my, I've got, oh, what is it? It's, it's like transfer stuff. It's tape, basically. And cut it out of that. Put the backing. You put the backing on the cardstock, then I always forget. By the time I remember it, I've already cut it out. And it's like, yeah, I forgot again. It's okay. Oops. you over there. Okay, perfect. Oh, this is going to be so cute. Now this little deal on this is, you know, going to have to be glued down, or I could put it on white. But instead of doing that, I think I'm going to go ahead and do my tag with this little piece here. It's kind of hanging out. I wanted a bigger tag than that, so I'm going to cut it a little bit bigger. Let's see, that's too big, but see that that's close. Let's see how it works on that side. I thought that was going to be skinnier than it was. It's close. We'll see if I do a tag. I want it to be wider. It just can't be quite as wide as that. Let me cut that with my cutting board if I can find you. There you went. All right, so another thing is, so keep good relationships, but don't guilt people and all that. Express affection, which I thought was kind of a funny thing to say, because you would expect people to be, expressing affection, but, you know, I suppose people deal with absences differently. You don't want them to feel like you're trying to smother them. So I think that can be perceived as lack of affection, even though, you know, you're not intending it that way. That's just a little bit bigger still. Let's get it a little smaller. Must be right at about 2 inches. Now I want my poinsettias to show up on my tag. So hopefully they will. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I really like this tag because then I can stick it with this ribbon right here. I could attach it to the ribbon. Now we do have some really nice edge things to cut the edge. If you wanted to do something super fancy, you could, but I for now am going to just cut it off. Okay, and then this is going to go like this, and this is going to go like this. I might even do it like this, and we'll do a different ribbon right there. Not that ribbon. Let's do a different one. Let's see, something fun about my candy cane one. I haven't used this in a while. This is an old retired one, and we're going to have candy canes on this, so I think this might look okay. We'll see. We'll see. Easy to take off if I don't end up liking it. I think it's going to look okay. Let's oops. There we go. Okay, so that's going to go there, and I think we want dimensionals on the back of that. Give it some height. Okay, so express affection however you can. I know you're long distance, but I mean, I love you. I miss you. I'd like to see you. I'm calling you instead of always waiting. It's hard for us to strike a balance, I think. I remember being annoyed at being called a lot by a needy parent, not my mother. And so who's been gone a long time, so I'm not like hurting anyone's feelings by saying that. And, you know, I didn't want to be smothering our kids when they left home, but I think not calling can be misconstrued as lack of affection. So it's just it's a hard balance to just ask. Would probably be, do you want me to, you know, call, you know, do you prefer that I call you, or do you want to call? It's hard to ask these questions because you don't want it to sound like you're trying to make an appointment or anything. But on the other hand, people have busy lives. You almost have to. Okay, and then the next thing was, well, let me look here. It was, oh, this was a big one. Do not view their failures or successes as a reflection on you. It's kind of a general good parenting thing, you know. They'd be horrified to hear us even say that, I'm sure. Now I'm just putting this in the middle, this glue. This is just going to kind of secure that outer edge a little bit. I don't really want it to be, because it's raised up. I don't want it to, there we go. It's just there, okay? All right, now my ribbon can go there, there. Oh, it's so cute. Now you can do your little candy canes. I just really think these leaves are perfect for any other set. You can put any set with these leaves of holly. You can put little animals with them. If you like your holiday animals, you can put hearts with it. Even if you don't make it Christmassy with holly berries and all. These leaves can be other, you know, leaves. They don't have to be holly leaves. So you can do them with Valentine's. Have hearts with them. It's a good general set. So I don't have this one put in with my Christmas things. This set is like a general set for me. It's going to be in with my flowery things. All right, now the paper. The candy cane paper. We want our candy canes. So I'm getting the red and the green ones out. We're going to stick those on there. Like that. Okay, and then just barely enough room for a sentiment there, huh? I think we will be using that little label because that'll give us just enough room to have just a little something sticking out there. So let me grab my little scrap of white. I think I have just enough room right there to stamp something. And we will want red. I've got Christmas on the inside already, that word, so I don't want that. Let's do from To Friends Near and Far. Perfect, except for this is going to have to, this is a big card. You're not going to mail this. This is a neighbor thing. So let's do From Our Home to Yours. And this will be a really nice little neighbor card. Okay, yes, that's it. From Our Home to Yours. Yes, that is it. Okay, I'm kind of eyeballing it because I want to make sure it doesn't, I can still cut it out. Good. Didn't have a big scrap there, did I? Kind of using up the last bit. Let me put this away and find, where did my, I gotta get a new Simply Chamois. Man, this one's looking really trashed. Okay, so another one is a very obvious one. Take care of yourself. But some people who, you know, especially a lot of times Christians don't do that very well. So take care of yourself. Meaning take care of yourself spiritually, physically, mentally, you know. Take comfort. It gets better. I thought that was interesting that this person with experience was saying that. I think the point was that as the grandkids get older, it's easier to communicate at a distance with them, and it's easier to use your skills of being a, you know, oops, rats. It's easier to be, you know, have to show your unconditional love for your kids and your grandkids. As the grandkids get older, it's a little easier to do that. At least that's what I took away from that. I'm not at that point, so I don't really know. Our grandkids are all really, really young. And it is difficult to talk on the phone, to do FaceTime. It's more difficult than when they get older, I think, but I'm not convinced of that. That's one, sometimes the things you read are like, well, we'll see when we get there, because I don't really know that that's true. I know that things change when they get older, and they might not necessarily be as wanting to communicate with you. You need to be sensitive to what is their need rather than your need. Right? Isn't that the case with all relationships? The best ones are when you just stop focusing on yourself and do what's best for someone else. And then it's better. It's kind of the Christian thing all together. Oops. Now I've really messed up my video here. Oh, there we go. Okay, so got that glued on. Okay, this is cute. This is my last Christmas card of the year. I am not doing Christmas next week. I definitely am done with Christmas. Now you can put, you know, ribbon around that. I've already got 2 different ribbons, so I am not doing that, but you definitely could. I think I'm going to go ahead and just do dimensionals right here. Just one, just to get my candy cane kind of where I need it. And I'm going to do one right there. Get that one there. It seems to me like it kind of needs, you know, a ribbon right there, but I'm going to resist. Put a little glue right there. And how about another dimensional underneath here? Oops, not there. Right there. There. Now that's secured on there pretty good. Isn't this cute? So here you go, little package for you. Just open it up, and voila. Very cute. Anyway, I think you're going to really enjoy that. It's very easy to make, and I hope you enjoy doing it, and whoever gets it is definitely going to enjoy getting it. I'm going to have to think of a good neighbor thing to stick in there. I don't know. You could put a nice little, not too big, but a little ornament would work in there, right? Something that's not too fat. Okay, here, for the parents of missionaries, people away from their kids or grandkids, build a support team. There are other people like you out there. So if you're part of a church group, find out. I bet there are missionary parents there who are experiencing this. Or who have experienced it, who might be willing to be part of a support group, because it's different than with you know, people who have estranged families, I suppose, but I don't know. I'm not really sure that it is so different. I think a lot of times we think things are different to a great degree. The feelings and the problems you're experiencing are very much the same. You just think it's different, but it's really not all that different. So I thought that was an interesting idea. Find a support group, because the thing is if you're kind of going through some guilt, or if you're going through depression, or if you're going to have if you are grieving that decision, you know it's a good decision, but you're still grieving it. The point was, don't do it alone. So anyhow, I thought that was interesting. And then be sure that you express a lot of positive to them. You know, frankly, if they are on a mission field, they are away from you, and they are having the same issues, and they don't really need your extra angst when they are already having it on their own end. So let's make life easier for others instead of harder. And I'm speaking to myself here, not to you. And And then that just cleans it all, makes it all good, because there's so many great things to enjoy in life. I don't want to waste all the great things God gives us by moaning about what he hasn't. Right? Okay. We are done with the lecture, done with the card. I hope you have a great day today and a wonderful holiday, because the season is upon us. And oh man, we had the greatest time at our church last Sunday, because the little kids came out and sang, and they only did one song, but I mean, they were good. I wouldn't have minded of hearing several, and we don't have any connections there at all. I don't know any other people really. We just worship there. We don't really know anybody. We're such bad examples. But that was one thing. Be a good example. So don't do that. Next year we will be getting involved. I'm sure we will get into small groups and do all kinds of things. We wanted to be sure where we were going. And so we're just taking our time to jump in there, and that's why. But man, I love this church. It's a great church. So if you're in the Springfield area, want to be part of my team, I'd love to have you join me. I would love to have classes. I just need to have some more people to do it with. And because it's just not much fun when it's just me and one other person. It's a lot more fun with more. So join me. Do that in January. We will start our card club. We could do that once a week. Once a month, maybe, would be better. Once a month. But if you are looking for a church here, check out Northside Christian, I think it is Northside, right? I don't write it down, and I have to write things down to remember. It's Northside Christian Church. It's Christian church, and there's only one up there in the north, so that would be it. Anyway, their kids program is great. They were so good and so fun, and I was looking for the naughty kid in the group that wouldn't participate, and I guess they didn't choose to come out because I didn't see one. So that was kind of surprising, actually. It was great. So I hope you get to have a good time to enjoy that. If you do not go to church, go to a church. Go to one of their services for Christmas and enjoy that blessing, and then realize you can do that all the time. That blessing is right there for you all the time, and you're missing it. Don't miss it. It's really a good thing. And what else do I have on my list? I think that was it. I don't think there's anything more. There's that clearance stuff that's happening. Don't miss it. This is all end of the year clearance items. They won't be there for very long. The good things go pretty fast, but the difference is that what is a good thing to you might not be to someone else. Like my ribbon here, over here on the side. If that came up on clearance, I wouldn't buy it. I have some, but if you didn't have that, or my little candy cane kind of ribbon, those are not on the clearance rack, but you never know. Sometimes this stuff comes up even a couple of years later. They end up finding it, I guess, in their warehouse, and it goes on sale. It's like, sweet, I'm snapping it up fast. So get in there and find those things and enjoy the sales, enjoy the holidays, stay focused on the real things in Christmas, which is Christ and the good things God gives us. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next week. I will be taking time off when my family's here, so there will be at least a 2-week period I won't be, but that'll be right around Christmas time. You guys will be busy anyway. So I'll be here next week, and then probably not for a couple of weeks after that. See you next week then. Bye.